Welcome back, everybody. New fallout after rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, got his Twitter account suspended again for making anti-Semitic posts. The rapper tweeted an image on Thursday that appeared to show a swastika inside a Star of David. The post was blocked by Twitter for violating its rules, and Elon Musk said West's account was suspended, quote, for incitement to violence. It came after Ye went on Alex Jones's InfoWars and praised Hitler and said that the Holocaust never happened. Joining me as chairman and president of Media Matters, Angela Carusone. I mean, I don't, what's going on? How is it that we live in a country, we live in a world where a rapper like Kanye West, right, who obviously wants people to talk about what he's saying, right, he wants to push the envelope. I think a part of him probably in his head feels as if this is an expression of art, what he's saying, right?
Sure, maybe.
Is able to say things like this. I mean, this is pure hate speech. This is nothing.
Yeah, this is
nothing but pure hate.
Yeah, this is distilled hate speech. And I think that, obviously there's the immediacy of this story, which is what Ye is saying and, how outrageous it is, and Elon Musk banning, suspending him. And that's this thing to consider. But immediately my brain goes to, what are the effects of this? What are we going to see, not when the news cycle is over, not in a couple of days, but what is the effect of this right now in 3 months or 6 months? And that's where I sort of assess how much I should be worried or concerned. And the truth is, this is going to be catastrophic. And here's why. Because he has a platform, right? He's obviously a major celebrity. He's going to get a lot of attention for these ideas. There's all kinds of clips of him saying these outrageous and anti-Semitic things on Alex Jones's show circulating on social media. Then obviously there's a lot of people saying they're saying it's ridiculous. But the social media algorithms also recommend this to people that may be interested in it, that don't think it's ridiculous, but haven't seen this in a raw, distilled form on TikTok, for example, right? And so actually what this is going to end up doing is sowing seeds where of algorithmic amplification all across the internet. And there's going to be a whole wave of new people that are exposed to these ideas. And then by extension, a whole bunch of new neo-Nazis that Elon Musk is allowing back on Twitter so that they can follow up and continue to ingest this.
Well,
so
but
this
Angela,
is actually
I got to push back on you and say this. What do you mean there will be? There already are. Donald Trump, and the former president started that. And that's where we are, right? Because you had the former president as a politician running for president of the United States, serving as president for 4 years, who enabled people to think this way and to speak the quiet part out loud, right? That was in kind of the political sphere. And now you have someone in the social media sphere, like Elon Musk, who's doing the exact same thing. In the entertainment sphere, right? Like Kanye West and what happened with Kyrie Irving as well. I mean, what is next? And what is happening that all of these people are thinking this way?
I think that what you just said is really significant because you made the essential point that I totally agree with, which is that this is not a difference in kind. What Ye did is really just a difference in degree. But it's the same thing that we've been seeing from Trump. It's the same thing that we've been seeing from right-wing media. They've been pushing and promoting and sort of laying the scaffolding and the foundation for a new wave of anti-Semitism. And what Elon Musk has done by bringing these people back on, right, is allowing them to now sort of harness and channel some of that energy. And if I were to put it simply, what you're seeing in the Republican Party as a whole, but also on the far right, is that they're organizing power on what used to be considered the fringes. No, they're no longer the fringes. That's where they're moving them increasingly to the center because that's where they've chosen to organize power. And I don't think that we can just dismiss this as something that's happening on the fringes because, as you note, this is happening front and center at the table for the front runner for the Republican Party and is backed largely by that right-wing echo chamber and noise machine.
Well, and then also, I just want to leave folks with this, right? And it's this tweet that I saw from Caitlyn Jenner, which I found really disturbing, as if Elon Musk is fighting the good fight, right? And she said this: I hope you're surrounded by massive security and in an extremely safe, undisclosed location. You just became public enemy #1 to some very, very bad people. I pray for your safety and thank you for your bravery. We need more Elon Musk in our society, considering what Elon Musk right now is doing with Twitter, the rise in hate speech online as well with his acquisition of Twitter. I mean, it's unbelievable now how folks are painting Elon Musk and someone who has a platform like Caitlyn Jenner who's engaging in the good fight, that he's engaging in the good fight. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything good here.
I think we agree on that.